Hey guys, so in this video we're going to discuss the different types of strokes that we can do with our drumstick. There's only a couple that I think you need to focus on. Everything else is kind of a variation of the four main ones. And even two of those are fairly interchangeable depending on how you look at it. And we'll be approaching those two that we'll talk about in a minute very similarly. So the first one I want to talk about, you'll see this a little bit more in the 8 on a hand or 8s video that will also be posted. It's going to be called the full stroke. So essentially, describing a stroke type for a drumstick is all about where you start and where you end, right? So in this stroke, the full stroke, we'll be using to warm up with at the beginning of every rehearsal, essentially starts up and ends up, right? Obviously, if we are just starting a rep, you have to initiate it, right? But after that, as soon as it's up in the air the first time, you just focus on getting it to rebound all the way to the full height, okay? The one that I was mentioning earlier, which is very similar to the stroke, we'll call a tap stroke. It's still technically a full stroke, but in our terms of up and down, right, this one will start down and end down, right? But it's still bouncing, rebounding to where it started, which is why I also like to consider that a full stroke. Cool. The reason we talk about that one as separate from a full stroke is just so that we can kind of further define playing out, playing strong, and playing with enough relaxation at the low end, because a lot of our music will be at that piano dynamic. The next two stroke types are kind of opposites of each other, and they'll be kind of very intertwined as we look through the show music in the packet. The first one we'll call a downstroke, right? Starting up, ending down. Okay, that's going to be a lot of our releases or a lot of our ending of phrases. So you'll notice in 8 on a hand, as we transition from this hand to the next, you'll notice that this one doesn't make a more dead sound, but it ends down so that this hand can have a chance to play. Alright. Obviously the next one will just be the upstroke. Obviously we have to get up if we're already playing from somewhere, so this one will be pretty noticeable, for instance, in the height control exercise. So the first bar of that goes, or the first phrase, however. But yeah, you'll see that first accent, 2 and 3 and 4, and right on that and of 4, we pick it up and then play it down, okay? So that's just as important to make sure you're staying relaxed as you're playing a stroke that is coming up for an accent. Okay, and you'll learn a little bit more about that when you watch the height control video that will be posted as well. And if you have any questions about stroke types, just make sure that you're coming prepared to rehearsal with those as well. Cool, thanks guys.